with good products, I'm sure even export, even social networking will make you change your marketing style. It's the easier way around the market, and it will stay longer because you are the difference. Thank you for the time. Please don't forget to visit us at Big Pigs. I will turn over the mic to Jay, who will talk about one of our highlight products, which is not here in this whole hall. It is called 3D printing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Menchi. Who here are designers? Here are designers. Who among you guys here design stuff? You hands, come on. Engineers, artists, anyone? Come on. Doctors, suppliers, manufacturers. Oh yeah, we're all here. Basically, kalat-kalat tayo, so, or have heard of it. Show me some hands. And most of us actually here in the Philippines, sadly, are not that aware of what 3D printing is yet. But let's say a bolt or a nut, you're gonna slice it up into layers and print out or produce each of those layers and put them on together on top of each other, so you can get a finished product. So as you can see behind him, there's a mags or a wheel. So 3D printing has been around for roughly 20 years already. Some 20 years ago, some 15 years ago, it was only recognized. 10 years ago, 3D printing became available to manufacturers. So now, it's not just manufacturers, it's all of us. 3D printing is now available in the commercial side. So later I'm going to go to that part. So the process of 3D printing. Right here is something that I did a few months ago. Probably you're familiar with the Daily printer, the one that we have at Big Pigs. It's a direct printing. It's a flatbed. It's a big one. The next one is which printer is that on the second? Mafi. Which one is this? Which printer is this? The one on the second row? That's the UJF direct printing. Yeah, that's what we were talking about a while ago. And the one on the bottom is the VelaJet. The VelaJet, yeah. Yeah. So, as you can see in the first row, that's the picture. I just saw the picture on the internet. I hadn't had time to measure up everything, so I took the time to look at pictures on the internet and made a 3D file. I use different 3D softwares, 3D Max, Maya, and SketchUp. Everybody's familiar with SketchUp now. Then, after that, I put it through our machine, our 3D printer, and I printed out these samples. So the ones on the right are actually 3D printed outputs. So those are not files. Those are real. Those can fit on top of my hand. Unfortunately, I don't have them because they're too delicate. I'm moving on. Here's Bunbury. He's a character I'm a fan of Final Fantasy VIII. A week ago, we were at ToyCon. I tried to do a model of Bunbury just to showcase for the people who are fans of toys and video games. So I started out with a file. I started out with making a 3D file. I joined them together. I converted them to an STL file. By the way, STL format is the format that the printers, most 3D printers recognize. So whatever 3D printer you're facing, it's only going to understand the STL language. Okay. After the STL file, there we go. We're going to print it now. So it depends on the printer that you have and the settings that you're going to put for the printer to print that specific file. That's going to be basically what the output is going to look like. It can be rough, it can be smooth, it can be perfect, it can be not so perfect. So it depends on your preference. That's also an advantage of the 3D printers that we have now. Just as in regular printing, you can choose the quality. Also in 3D printing, you can choose your quality. So there's the output. Right there, on the left, the green one is the file, and on the right, that's the 3D printed output. I actually have it here. So I'm going to pass it around. You guys can have a look at it. Yeah, see. That's Bunbury right there. My little version of Bunbury. So, moving on, we go to types of 3D printers. There are two major types, basically. Things that I'm gonna break it down into two parts, major parts for us, because I know we are in the industry, and that's what we're more concerned of. The first one is the industrial type. These are the really, really big ones and the really, really expensive ones. And we have the personal and portable ones. So the one that I mentioned about 3D printing becoming commercialized. There are 5 ways to 3D print. Over the years, over the past 20 years, there were different people contributing to how 3D printing should be done. So there's extrusion, there's wire, there's granular, there's laminated, there's light polymerized. So 3D printing is not limited to only one material. It became available to metal as well. Actually, we already have metal 3D printing, but it's so expensive. So moving on, I'm going to focus on two types: extrusion and light polymerized. By the way, light polymerized is the first one that was invented. The Object, the brand that we carry, the Object Eden series, are the large printers that we have for 3D printing. It uses the light polymerized process. What it does is, imagine a head of a printer. It has 600 by 600 millimeter and basically thousands of holes in it. And it shoots out, microscopic amounts of resin at a time. Resin is basically the raw material for plastic. So it passes on the platform once, it shoots out a bit, and it cures it using UV light. So the polymer that we use here for the Object are UV reactive polymers. So particularly, the Object is the most accurate by far. You can print engine parts. Well, if you're wild enough to use those engine parts in your actual engine, it would fit. But, of course, it's plastic. But if you're going to print engineered parts, it's going to fit perfectly with Object. These printers are really intense. I mean, if you see outputs, they're really wild. On the other hand, we have the portable series. Bunbury, right there, was being passed around. I printed that using one of our personal portable printers. It's a lot cheaper. It may be a bit slower, but it's a lot cheaper. The materials used for these kinds of printers right now are ABS plastic. That's the one that's much available in the Philippines locally. And there's another one, PLA plastic. PLA is, let me check my reference. PLA. Well, basically, PLA is biodegradable plastic. So if there are people concerned there, having a 3D printer at their home, they want to say, oh, I have a 3D printer at home. Maybe I like to print something that's eco-friendly. So PLA is available. It's made of cornstarch. Basically, it's cornstarch that's polymerized, turned into plastic. Anyways, this one uses the extrusion process. The one I was saying earlier, the first one, extrusion. It works like a glue gun. Imagine your hand, you're holding a glue gun, you're pointing it downwards, and you're shooting glue upwards to form a shape. That's basically how it works. So the head right there, the white part, which has a little black thing there, that's the nozzle, that shoots out the plastic layer per layer, it builds it up. So if you're gonna look at the sample that I have, you can check out, you can look closely and you can see the layers actually. So what now? You have the industrial, we have the portable. Which one do we use? That's the big question, huh? Well, it depends. If you're a designer, you're looking at as a designer, me, when I first saw 3D printing,